Yo, yo. Check. Yo, what's up? Yo. JJ, can you hear me? Yo, what's good? Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Yeah, what's up? How's it going, gang? I'm very grateful to be back at Kay's place doing my thing, but I'm on a bit of a modest setup, so you'll have to bear with me. How we doing? Yo, what's up, Sal? Yo, it feels fucking crazy being back on, man. How you guys doing?
Welcome to Space World.
Yeah, J-Hat, what's up? Thank you, JJ, that's really helpful. Yeah, I just gotta get comfy for a sec. We'll see if anyone wants to show. But, yo, P-Dot, come on, fam. Yo, look, I spent most of my time on stream before thanking Peach, but I gotta shout him again because I had to brush the dust off for a sec and remind myself how to get acquainted with OBS and this whole setup. So let's just shout P one more time real quick because you know I had to link him this week to ask for a little advice and that he's been super helpful. Yeah, come on. Yeah, P's had a fucking good week, you know. Yeah, Peace had a crazy week. Yo, everyone show peace and love right now. I will just give people a sec to jump in and then we can do some levels and stuff, JJ, if you don't mind helping me. But straight up, you gotta just bear with, gang, because I'm on a modest setup. All my shit's been freaking out. Everything's just rusty and dusty right now, so yeah, I know. That's what's up, man. Come on. P's the goat there, innit? And I was showing P love Bear before for helping me out, but even this week, man, the brother's got me. He's been sorting me out. Gang, should we just post? I bet, look, just bear with me a sec whilst I just post up. We better tell people we're on, see if we can round anyone else up. But how are we doing? Is everyone good? Yeah, he's a real one. How are we all doing? Shall we just post up on Insta or some shit real quick? Just let them know. See if the JJ jump in Space World in it and see if we can round anyone else up before we get jamming. This post up as well, bear with. Let's give the gang a sec to jump in. Come on. Yo, how we all doing, chat? Let's see if we can round anyone else up. JJ, jump in, see if we can't find anyone else to pull up before we get started on it. Let me just post some shit real quick. Alright. 2 secs chat. Let's see if we can't. What you could do? Remind them. Oh yeah, true, JJ. My bad. Still though, innit? Just see what's up. Give me 2 secs. On Twitch. Right now, rare ones. Pull up. Right, gang. Give me 2 secs. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, let me just bear with me 2 seconds. Oh, K dot's posted. Legend. Let's see if this works. Okay, gang, how the fuck are we doing? It feels so odd to be back. How are we doing? I thought we could potentially maybe play some sort of Pokemon or some shit, or just have something going on, because truthfully there's a couple of games I've been trying to get some time into play, and I figured, you know what, maybe this evening's the perfect opportunity. And yeah, most importantly, I just wanted to hang and just chill for a sec whilst we got the release of the first chapter of The Flooding. And you know how it is. It's been a long time coming since I've been able to get back and say my thing. So I just wanted to just hang and just take a minute to kind of breathe that moment in. And yeah, there's no better way of doing it than with you guys. Oh yeah, you were talking about the records, innit? Let me just check. Yes, Cam. Who's been spinning the record today? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe, but we'll see for sure. Yeah, maybe on the VOD. We'll see, Scooter, but if not, then yeah, you might catch me pulling up sometime soon anyway. Who is it that was asking about the records, guys? Let me just check back real quick. I can't find them. Yeah. Morning Records has if it was the morning, I'm assuming it was Morning Records. We had a little bit of a mix up because I don't know why, but the website was like still letting people buy stuff for a minute afterwards. But yeah, they sold out instantly. So yeah, I'm sorry about that one. There's no vinyl available at the moment. And yeah, they've been gone for a hot minute, but yeah, we're definitely going to be pressing some other shit for sure. The stuff that we did in the first place was all like limited versions of the early releases, You and Everything Blue and the original Me and My Absent Mind, and that they were all limited. So we've been working on trying to get all the records out into a store where we can just have standard releases of everything But yeah, unfortunately with our little team, it's not stuff that happens overnight. So yeah, you have to bear with. But we're working on limited releases, we always are. But unfortunately we just don't have any right now. Gang gang. So listen, before we move forward, gang, look, it's taken me a sec to just warm up. All right, I've had such a crazy day and just the craziest time lately trying to get all this stuff popping. But listen, gang, first and foremost, is everyone good? Is everyone cool? Because I want to check in and I don't get the opportunity to. Yeah, I don't get the opportunity to catch up with you guys properly. You know what I'm saying? I usually just got to pop in, say my thing, and bounce. So how are we doing, chat? Before anything else. J Hat. Fucking good J Hat. I'm haps J Hat. I'm glad you're good, homie, because even K Dot was starting to just like notice your absence. We thought we better check in and make sure you were doing well. I'm glad you're good. I'm nice. Do you know what? I'm really nice. I'm grateful that I get to be back here doing my thing now because, yeah, as we know from, yeah, I've made it pretty clear in this rollout, but I've had a troubling couple of years trying to, yeah, having to step away from Sully for a minute has been pretty rough for me. So I'm very glad to be back. Oh, Len, look, honestly, if I really feel that if we are, if we could say anything from our side though, like honestly, if you really want to do it, you just got to still do it because it's just got it's such a tough place nowadays. Like it's so different to when I started releasing music, but yeah, honestly, like I really believe if you love it, you just got to adapt and carry on because as soon as you're not doing it, that's much worse. I think when you're a creative and it. What, 8 years? Don't even. Yeah. Honestly, Len, we our lot talk about it all the time because it's pretty fucked nowadays trying to release music and trying to just be involved in music in general because it's so saturated. But yeah, it's crazy nowadays. But truthfully, if whatever it is, if you want to do your thing, even just doing it in the first place, you're just already in the 1%. So many people think about doing something and they just don't act on it. So, not that you're asking for my advice, but my advice would be just do the thing. And as long as you love it, I don't know, it's never that difficult if your want to do it outweighs your, yeah, struggle. Scooter. Yeah, I can't tell you that. That's not my information to tell you at all. I can't be talking about that one. Phantom Lane. You know that's my fucking dogs band there. But I can't tell you. I don't know if they're active or if they got things coming. Wow, they're very active, but I can't tell you anything else. It's not my place. But the new shit sounds crazy. But that's all I'll say. And it's heavy as fuck, but I'm not saying anything else, innit? And the vocals are really sick, but I'm not gonna say any more than that. It's not my place to talk on that. I think they got a new video coming, but I don't know any more than that. That's the thing. I wouldn't push it. Truthfully, I don't know at all. Yeah. Yeah, Len. I can tell you when I'm playing shows. I'm playing the for the first fucking time this year, almost certainly, I'm pushing to do my first headline in mainland Europe this year, and I was trying to push for it last year, but I had to be in the studio and the record took a little bit longer, and we're still kind of working on the record right now. But I want to do my first headline show in mainland this year, but instead of touring mainland and just doing bare dates and just getting in over my head with it, I think I just want to start by pulling up and putting on one personal show somewhere in central mainland and trying to navigate that with some promoters, and then just bringing our thing to one place so that we can just get everyone to meet me there. That's what I'm thinking. And then I think from that, if that goes well, then we'll be able to reach some other dates and tour. That's what I'm thinking anyway, but we'll see. And also, I'm going to do a headline show for the Flooding in the UK this year as well. So we're going to do a couple exclusive events. I don't know if I'm going to be on tour with anyone else this year, but in regards to Sully shows, headline shows, they're already in the works for sure. And we're going to be pushing the capacity of the UK show, trying to go for something a little bit bigger, and we're gonna shut that shit down. K Dot, come on, stop now, stop K, don't be silly. Listen, but yeah, that's what's up. We're gonna bring the flooding. The flooding's gonna have some headline events. And as you guys might have seen, I don't make a big song and dance about this thing, but I've recently signed to a new agency and I'm very excited about it, and they're going to help navigate that situation. So shouts to them because, I can't move without an agent, so I'm very gassed on that. Yeah, what's up. But I'm bringing the flooding, new era, new shows. And I have to be real with you, there's a lot coming. The flooding is a very big project, hence why we're breaking it up into moments like this, and hence why I released the EP today, so that I could just be putting everything out at once. I need it all to breathe in its own place. And so yeah, we still got to release the record yet, which is a big thing. And yeah, then we're gonna shut it down. That's what's up. But every London show we do, I'm not from London really, but London's the closest headline we can do, which is like a hometown show, because it's a big central city that we can get people traveling to. And every London show we've done with Sully and any headline moment we've had, we've sold out very, very quickly. I feel very blessed. They've been very personal. They've been some of the best shows I've ever been to, and they've even been our shows. So I can't wait for the next London show, because there's this beautiful sentiment to these shows now through Sully, and they've ended up really meaning a lot to me. So London's gonna happen, but you know what, it's gonna be a slightly different energy, because Wake Up Next to Me was a very becoming record, and the flooding is a record of a lot of overcoming, but a lot of strife and a lot of struggle. So it's gonna be a nice energy to just like work, just to exert whatever's going on with you, and just to like, yeah, I really want it to be, I'm not trying to move in a way of like it being aggressive or too heavy or whatever, but I just want a different energy in the room where people can come and like just get anything off their chest that they're holding on to, because that's really what this album is for me. And it's like a lot of stuff that's been building for the last couple of years, where things that just have to be said. I think, after a while, when you don't say shit for long enough, you got to get it off your chest, innit? But yeah, the London thing is going to go crazy. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Yeah, JJ, headline is happening this year. I can almost guarantee it, because we've already been putting it in the works. And yeah, the last London show was crazy. It was so special. Scooter, I will. me and Jacob have had the craziest. Me and Ari have had the craziest time producing this record because we have a process where we start everything together in the same room. We don't like send versions of stuff to each other, and we'd get in the room together and I'd have like a bunch of writing and we'd be trying to figure out how it needed to sound. And I had all these references and all these ideas for like the visual identity of the record. And I knew all the films and all the other music and stuff that was like making me create this big mood board and world that I wanted the flooding to live in. Big up, big up. And me and Jacob had such a funny time. We're still working on it, but we've had such a funny time trying to create the music for this record because about 99% of the piano, like we wrote, is mine. And if there's guitars and instrumentation, it's me and Jacob playing it as always. Like we write all our parts. There's very little sampling in regards to the music, but the sounds that we're sampling in the record are very obscure and it's been a real challenge to figure out how to, like, it's got to the point where we've been driving ourselves crazy trying to make this music, man. Like there's one of my favorite sounds in the record is in the room, I think it is, and it's this like warm scraping sound, and it's like an old chair just being dragged across the floor, and it's really melodic and really warm. But that's when you know that you've written a record that's horrible, because I'm finding comfort in sounds that are that rough and just uninspiring. Whereas we're used to making music that just is very bright and easy to make sound, melodic. We're trying to fucking tune like the sound of breaking glass and sirens and shit. It's been really weird. Honestly, it's taken a long time, this album. Like, we've been working on it for fucking ages because of it. Yeah, JJ, I've had the merch for a minute as well. It honestly, these... Yeah, Scooter, what do you want to know? Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely tell you about the references. And also I appreciate that, Len. Honestly, the creating the sound for this album has been the most interesting and the most challenging, because it's very second nature for me to write lyrics and just to write in general. So usually I just write a whole bunch and then they kind of form their way into being somewhat musical, and like they turn into lyrics over time as I start figuring it out. And so the writing and the concept's really simple. The concept is me just very simply talking about everything I was thinking about whilst I was going through this crazy period of my life where I had a condition that I didn't know anything about, and in short, in 2021, 2022, I started to get these crazy symptoms, lots of dizziness, vertigo, lots of disorientation, a little bit of hypochondria, I think, in there as well, lots of panic and anxiety. And I was so dizzy and disorientated that for a couple of years of my life, I couldn't leave the house for very long without suddenly having these symptoms, and they were very real and scary, and I was like having to get people to pick me up on the side of the road, and I was all over the place. And the short of it is I had like a lot of compression in the back of my head, and it was firing off my nervous system to put me in a state of like panic, and I got trapped in that panic. And in those years when I was pretty unable to like focus on Sully or focus on anything apart from getting better, I had a lot of panic attacks, which is very unlike me, and had a lot of anxiety and a lot of panic, which just is not inherently not really something that I I deal with on that, to that level. And it brought up a lot of trauma and a lot of stuff that I'd struggled with over 10, 15 years prior. And through being stuck in the house all the time, and then also being sort of mentally encapsulated and trapped within this kind of like vortex of negativity, because I was in this sort of state of hypochondria through my brain being in panic all the time, I'd written this massive concept of how I was feeling. And because all of it came flooding in, and because it felt so rainy and stormy and I was trapped in the house, a lot of these metaphors are barely metaphors on this album because they're pretty literal. And even though my friends were there and I had like a lot of support from my friends and stuff, and a lot of people could kind of physically see what was going on with me, mentally it was extremely challenging and it rocked me. And I've genuinely still been on a journey overcoming this for years now. And it's why there's been like a big period of time where I've not been able to step back into Sully fully, because I was on this journey of trying to figure out what the fuck this thing was that was going on with me. Side note, I was in and out of the hospital for about 14 months, constantly getting my blood checked and having scans and x-rays and stuff, because I had these crazy things going on with me, but they couldn't find anything. And so it was a very, very challenging time. It was happening when I was on the Nothing Nowhere tour in 2022, and I was having to cancel shows and stuff because, yeah, we were really struggling as a team with me, because, yeah, just be having these states of delirium where I was just completely out of it for long periods of time. And and in short, I wrote The Flooding off the back of years of this mental upset and trauma. And even though I'm smiling now, it was singly the most challenging years of my life. I'm sure my friends will vouch for that, having to help me through it so much. And yeah, so that's really the concept, and why this album is so gritty and visceral and abrasive and honest, because it created a bit of a monster in me, because I really knew that I needed to expel a lot of these things that were I was like holding in, that had caused me trauma in the past. And a lot of those things that I spoke about were just coincidentally being in a lot of car crashes in the early years of my life, and lots of incidents where, yeah, just shit that really fucked me up. I had a lot of things that impacted me negatively, like losing friends, for example, and I speak about that on the album quite a bit. J-Hat shouts. So I just wanted to write this record that was really brutal and honest, and was like, you know what, like, I spend a lot of my time as an artist talking about being okay, but the only reason I have a good perspective on that is because I've had a lot of time when I've not been okay, and it's built up and ended up getting to a point where it could have even contributed to my body kind of collapsing in on itself. But if you have copious car accidents and copious like near death or near severe situation like misses, I also got rushed to hospital because I had this allergic reaction to this thing I took, and it freaked the shit out of me, and I was really scared because all my face and throat were swelling up. So I just had lots of trauma and weird things happen in a short space of time, and I think my body went boof and just couldn't handle it. And as an artist, you know what it's like. It immediately found its way to paper, and I wrote this whole concept. The whole idea of the flooding was this thing taking over my life. And honestly, we didn't think I was coming back from it. So let's get some fucking love in the chat for my overcoming right now. And shouts to my fam and my friends, because I really thought I'd lost it and fucked it up for myself. And yeah, I didn't know if I was coming back from it. So I'm glad I'm here. And yeah, don't mean to over explain, but it's the right time to talk to you guys, as soon as that's the whole premise of us pulling up right now. And thank you so much. Yeah, it rocked me because I'm extremely positive and independent, and it just took all of that. It was really fucking difficult. Because we didn't know what it was, and it took even the doctors for a long time just couldn't figure it out. That's what's up, Cam. Yeah, shouts to Cam. He's and Kate's in chat because they saw a lot of what I was going through firsthand, and it was mega. But that's why I'm stood on the fucking top of a mountain in the freezing cold in bugs, and that's why I was out in a t-shirt in the middle of December in -degrees, losing my fucking head, because I got to do that again. I got the opportunity to feel everything. Can you imagine, chat, right? I'm a very grateful person. I've spent my life through my 20s just like standing on business and being like, my whole purpose in life is to talk to other people, whether it's on stage or through my music, and try and help in this. And the whole ideal is just, look, fucked up shit has happened to me like it does everybody else. If I've made it through that thing, please let that give you some hope that you can make it through your thing, whatever it is. So when this shit happened to me out of nowhere, it took away all that life that I had desperately been very grateful for a very long time. And when I finally got the chance to feel like I could step outside again, and I feel like I'm not going to have these horrendous episodes happen, I ran and I ran and I ran because I couldn't for years. And that's why the rollout for this record is so empowering for me and is so horrible because I wanted to be out shooting in the middle of the night in the freezing cold, jumping fences, getting up to no good like we used to. I wanted to be going into these crazy abandoned places and like doing all this mad shit. Like I wanted to be stood on the top of the fucking mountain in like shirtless in the freezing cold in the storm, or hanging out the whip or whatever. When you take that freedom and that mental freedom away from someone, oh my god, chat, the gratitude to be able to feel those things again, it's completely indescribable how grateful I am now to be here and to be putting this record out as like I got to live to talk about it. And yeah, I'm not going to keep going on about the essence of this record because I'm not here trying to overshare. But equally, if there's a room that I'm going to walk into where I feel comfortable enough to open up about this, it's this room, because that's the whole reason that we've come here in the first place, is to hang and talk about this record for a second. But yeah, there's lots of, to answer your questions before, there's lots of visual and sonic references. The room is based on the original room from The Shining, 217, I think the number is. And there's a couple of references and a couple of visual references from the original Shining, because that's how the house was looking in my head. The pacing and the relentlessness of the whole album, The Flooding, I wanted to bring in similarities to like my experience as Ellie playing The Last of Us 2, if I'm being real, because that game has a real beautiful way of making you feel like you're genuinely struggling when you play it, and by the time you get to the end of it, it has a wear on you that feels very, very real for a video game. And I wanted to have the same journey with the record, where by the time you get to the end of it, you can potentially have some kind of idea of the exhaustion that I was going through this very long, drawn out time in my life. Um, but yeah, honestly, in the flooding, there are also some moments to come up for air because I still want the record to be replayable and something that people can turn to feel overcoming as opposed to feel heavy and like weighed down by it. So yeah, I really, really cannot wait to continue to share this record because The Woods Behind the House is just the first chapter of this book. It's just it's just like, yeah, it's the first point that I realized I was starting to feel this way. That's why in The Woods there's lots of talk about small things that were upsetting me, and as we delve deeper into that album, I feel like I start to open up about things that were affecting me on a much deeper and heavier level. So we've really only just got started with Woods, I think, personally. Oh my gosh, bare questions in it. Let me just quickly check what's up. I really can't express enough, chat, how I'm not out here trying to talk about this any more than right now. And so I appreciate you sitting here and trying to make like piece this together with me, because this might be the only time I open up about this shit, but I felt it was like a really good time to. Yes. Langdogs in chat as well. Yo, shouts Lang. Scooter, this a lot of the individual samples on this album are taken from very, very old, dusty Japanese horror movies. And I'm not amazing at sampling because it's a fine art sampling, because you have to listen to a whole bunch of crap and just have a vision of what the sound that you want, and you have to just listen to a whole bunch of stuff and just go, I think it's there, and then take something that feels close to what you're looking for and then work it and use it as an instrument and manipulate it into the sound you're trying to. It's hard. It's sampling for me is harder than just playing an instrument, because we only sampled sounds, so there's no. I think there's one piano sample in the record, and then I think the rest of it is just sound. So it's like a lot of shrieking and a lot of scraping of like wood and glass and things that are Foley. I'm talking about being trapped in the house a lot, and I just want the soundscape to feel like you're in the house, and I'm trying to find sounds in the record where I'm like, when I'm looking around the house in my head that I've like drawn up, like what does it feel like? And that's clearer in the flooding as a whole record, because we only start to touch on that a little bit in the woods. But yeah, there's no instrumental sampling, I think, apart from on Capitol Hill. That's the only one. Where did the intro for Juzo come from? The intro for Juzo is I think it's like a woman shouting. It's like a woman it's like a woman singing, but like aggressively. I can't remember where it's from originally, and then we just had to cut it to, we got one note and then we just made the melody out of that. Sorry, I'm missing your questions, chat. I didn't anticipate chatting on this as much. Yeah. It's difficult to know if there's any other music in regards to music that inspired this record. It's quite tricky because I never listened to artists that are anything like what the music that we make. In fact, to be clear, and I think this is a really good time to bring this up, I started writing Fall Back Asleep with Me, and it was a lot of music that was in the same vein as Wake Up Next to Me. And I follow my gut and intuition over logic in life most of the time. And something felt very wrong and misaligned with me bringing up the rest of that record at that point. It just felt like I'd already said enough in Wake Up Next to Me. And I'd already started writing Fall Back Asleep With Me, but as I was writing it, I just went into the studio for a few days and I was like, ugh, I gotta say these things. And I wrote a very, very, very embryonic Juzo, I Wouldn't Recognize Me, The Blue and Blue, and something else. And then I left them because they were like kind of crappy demos where I was just yelling and getting this off my chest. And then I kept writing for Fall Back Asleep With Me. And yo, big up. And I kept writing for it, and it was like burning in me that I had to do the flooding, but it felt so peculiar and scary and weird. And like so at the time I was listening to the opposite stuff. I really didn't plan on doing anything in this space, like sonically at all. It was never a plan to be like rapping or being a vocalist in this space. I had no idea what I was doing. I've always rapped, like even when I was younger or whatever, I was always rapping, but I just did not plan on doing this sonically. I was listening to very different shit when I started writing The Flooding. Very, very different. Like lots of underscores and Devon Again and Marvy and lots of like, yeah, not and maybe a bit of Gene Dawson and stuff like that. So nothing musically inspired this. I just got into a point where I was like, something's wrong with this direction I'm taking. It doesn't feel right at all. And the flooding was like burning inside me, and I was like, ugh. And then I hit up some of the homies. I hit up Kate's, for example, and I said, what am I doing? What am I meant to be doing? And she just went, Juzo. And I was like, okay, shit, I better fucking... Yeah, I mean, I don't need to talk about how much Tokyo Ghoul had a visual, was visually inspiring for this record, because of the obvious references in the lyrics and stuff. But yeah, I was watching Tokyo Ghoul prior as well. Yeah, I did go on to. Do you know what, Len? I love you, because before I went on tour with Nothing Nowhere in 2022. A few weeks before was the absolute worst it got by a fucking mountain. It was the worst it got by so far. Bearing in mind, it was every single day, relentlessly. I didn't have a day in 2.5, maybe 3 years where I was okay. I woke up every single night, sat on the end of the bed, had my phone out trying to ring the ambulance. I was fucked because I was waiting for the moment that the hospital rang me and said, oh yeah, we figured out what it is, you're in trouble, fam. So I shouldn't have gone on the tour really, but I didn't want to miss it. It had been cancelled loads and moved around loads because of COVID prior. I loved Joe. I didn't want to let Joe down. I had a different agent at the time, and I told him and I told the team, but I knew them all, so like they were super nice. Joe was so fucking great about it, but what do we expect? That's why I shout him on the new album. Obviously, he's the GOAT. But I was in pieces. I was absolutely in pieces. I was having panic attacks trying to get out of the car on the highway in the middle of the fucking street in Prague. I was fucked. I was all over the shop on that tour. That's why we had to cancel some of the shows, because I couldn't drive any further. And yeah, before I was going on stage, I was having panic attacks all the time. One of the best shows we did, one of my favorite shows on that tour was Prague, where, what's the homie that came out on? Anyway, when we played Prague, I'm sure it's Prague, on the Nothing Nowhere tour. I got a lot of memory loss from those shows, forgive me, but one of my favorite nights was Prague, and I was in the worst way I'd been in, and I was terrified to play, and I turned up to the venue and I said to Joe, I can't do this. And then when the guys were sound checking, Joe caught me on the stairs before we went up to play the show, to sound check, and he spoke to me about all of it, and he was like, the disorientation, all the existential stuff. My body was in so much panic that I couldn't absorb any nutrients. I was fatigued, I was fucked up, I didn't know what was going on. Joe was so calm and lush and just so mint about the whole thing. it was like the only time in the whole 2.5 years where I just felt a little bit kind of calm and safe. And we smashed the show. I thought we did really well. The guys were great. Alex and Jacob were really great. And yeah, we fucking still managed to shut it down. God knows how. So, and big up everyone that came to see us on that tour, because I was not at my best. Let me just try and get back to y'all. Just so you guys know, I've got some games that we can play as well. But I want to speak about this, like, if you've got questions, because we don't get to a lot. What's the song at the end of the In My Head music video? That's called Try Not to Move, and it's just more unreleased. It's just crazy amount of unreleased music that's probably not finished enough to be properly released. But yeah, that was a song for Me and My Absent Mind again. But yeah, people ask me about that all the time. That's it. As you can tell by the video, I liked it. Thank you, Len. Yeah, it's really difficult to talk about stuff like this because you don't want to, like, people have got it way harder than me. Like, the world's pretty fucked up right now more than ever. So I'm only bringing it up because this is the room where I feel comfortable enough to just say my thing so that you guys have like a bit of an understanding. And look, truthfully, you all support me like to a crazy degree. You support my team, you support everything we do, and I just want you to know, like, I want you to know. I feel like you guys deserve to have a bit of an understanding as to like what, like, you know, you're singing these songs with me. You're like, to a degree, I've spoken about this before, but like when you listen to people's music, like, I feel like as a listener, you have the opportunity to understand that person better than people around that person. Because like when I write very openly about things that I don't even necessarily talk to people about. So I think sometimes it's quite easy for fans to feel really connected with artists because if they open up in their work and they talk about the things that are important to them, those fans are going to feel very connected because they're missing they don't get the hangout and the normal time in between. They just go from not knowing that person to knowing so much about that person. And because I'm extremely heart-bearing and honest in my music, sometimes I feel like my fan base stand a chance of having a better idea of knowing what I'm about and how I'm feeling at the time than people that I see on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's fair for me to share some of this with you guys because you support me, and in listening to my music and supporting me, you are along on this journey. And I would hate for you guys to think that this was like exaggerated or exacerbated or disingenuous. You know me very well. Everything I say is coming from an autobiographical place. And also, hey, if I wanted to make like music that was positive and it was about nice stuff, yeah, I would, but I don't. That's not how art services me. I've always used it as a way to talk about these difficult things so other people can find solace in that, because that's how I got through and still get through my life. It's by listening to other musicians and talking to other people, innit? Yo, Mark just joined. Big up. Okay, I'm gonna try to get through some more of these. Yeah, JJ, you're right. Let me catch up, guys. 2 secs. Sam, it will happen this year. I'm not one to lead you guys on. I ain't talking about it unless it's popping off. So it's almost certain that we're gonna have some kind of flooding headline this year for sure. But I need to tell you lot because you need an opportunity to get tickets. It will be intimate, and they always sell out. I don't know. And I want that. We gotta lock that shit down and sell it out quickly. So, yeah. Let me just check. Oh yes, J Hat, you fucking legend. What's your most favorite song on the record? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what though. I'm not gonna. My favorite song on the record today. My favorite song on Woods. Is Bugs, because when I was writing all of the first chunk of this album, I knew that there was going to be an introduction, and I knew I had to come out swinging and like make it very clear how I was feeling. And it was very exciting to write because even though we put a lot out and it kind of looks like it doesn't take long, Bugs is only like a minute, and it probably took me like 8 months because every single line I wanted to be really accurate and perfect. So I chipped away at writing Bugs for forever. And when we shot Bugs, I couldn't hear anything, and it was horrendous. I was going into shock all the time because it was like minus fucking 5 degrees in the storm on top of a fucking mountain. It took 2.5 hours to shoot 5 1-minute takes of the car shots. And the reason there's not much of it in the car is because my face was all blistering up from cold burn because we were hanging out the whip. The homie was holding me whilst driving so I didn't fall out the fucking whip because it was raining like crazy, so I'm flying around everywhere. But we'd spent so long planning and trying to get that shit together that I was like, well, I'm not going to fuck it up now. I came here to fucking work. We're getting this shit done. I'm on business. But it was super challenging. I'm not exaggerating. That shit was very, very difficult. And then we went back to Theo's house and we edited it together right there and then. And so I just loved it. I loved it. Bugs is so important to me. And I also, look, I love the record, but honestly, The Room is also very important to me. They all are, but like, you know what's up. The Room is like another one where I've like been trying to say a lot of that for a while. The Room is a really weird one. Today is coincidentally my friend Dom's birthday, would have been my friend Dom's birthday. And I speak about him in this record, and it's the first proper time I've spoken about him in this universe that I'm creating here with Sully. And it's because I spoke about him so much in Crooks that I felt like it was a narrative that I just really had like not put to bed, but I just like I'd said my thing for a min and I'd processed a lot. And yeah, The Room and like on the flooding in general, I've bought some stuff up about Dom again because I just want to talk about him. And I got a couple homies that aren't around anymore. Like a lot of us, we've lost people. I just want to talk about them. I want them to live vicariously through people keeping them alive, like myself, talking about them and speaking about them. And yeah, firstly, happy birthday, Dom, by the way. Big fucking just get some love and chat for my dog. Yeah, but The Room's important to me. I speak about Dom a little bit and speak about Crooks a little bit, which is not as usual for me, really, truthfully. But no, wait, hang on. On the album, on the flooding, I got another couple moments that I'm very gassed on, and one of them is this, Ice on the Road. I've been teasing this one because it's coming up. This shit. I don't know if you can hear this, chat. I'll be the way you tell me you're sorry. Calling your friends, talk awful about me. I couldn't move it, so getting ugly. Still trying to get to the house in a hurry. This. close my eyes, all I hear is you. I wake up every night thinking that it's you standing at my door. And maybe I was scared to death, but I stood by you. I love this. The light on my windows, try to stand, but I fall to the floor. I haven't been away since you. You know we don't talk anymore. I'll be the way you tell me you're sorry. Calling your friends, talk awful about me. I couldn't move, it's all getting ugly. Still trying to get to the house in a hurry. Watching them all drive past. Somebody please stop the car, it's freezing. I can't keep calling, trying to get me back. Maybe if they see the ice on the road where we crash. How come when I try to be careful, I fall through the floor? Maybe if you hold your breath, you can hear me too. Maybe I was trying to be careful, I told you before. I just couldn't stop the car till it reaches you. The light on my windowsill. Try to stand, but I fall to the floor. I haven't been away since you. You know we don't talk anymore. This is I Love You and Everything Blue, and like so I wanted to bring a lot of ties into that record. I'll be the way you tell me you're sorry. Calling your friends, talk awful about me. I couldn't move, it's all getting ugly. Still trying to get to the house. Watching them all drive past. Somebody please start the car, it's freezing. I can't keep calling, trying to get me back. No, I love that. Watching them all drive past. Somebody please start the car, it's freezing. I can't keep I'm still hoping it's not the same here. My fear is encroaching, the house starts shaking. Look at me closely. I got fans that'll love me mostly. It's not luck if it still costs my sleeping. I ain't told enough people how I'm feeling. Same songs for the same love, I'm leaving. Leave here gladly. Same friends I don't fuck with, speak badly. Man, I'm still chasing. I'm so sick of trying to reach my fans online without pacing. The room looks cozy. Yo, maybe if I'm lucky I'll find someone to hold me and stop this panic. One last tree in the woods that I can't walk through without sadness. Say me lately, thanking the ground for delaying my death long enough to try save me. Yeah, that's my current fave. That's not on the record, but it's on the flooding. I just there's a plan. I just didn't want to put it out on the woods because yeah. The song's called Ice on the Road, and it comes out on the next record. I'm really glad you fuck with it. In short, I have moments of coming up for air, or I don't know what the right expression is. Like I just needed to like I don't know what the term's called. Komorbi is the term through the forest, but you know when you get like imagine you're in like a building and you've like put wooden panels over the window, but there's like komorbi it is in the forest, but I don't know what it's called in shutters or in a building. But when you get like beams of light coming through, like you would get with like a Venetian blind or whatever. Most of the record's about being trapped in the house, and there's these moments of like light that I just felt like in the album you really needed that to make it more listenable, and also because I don't choose to be this hardened individual in the record. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. These things that have hardened me are not naturally like my core. At my core, that's like naturally not who I am. Circumstantial, situational things have made me the hardened person I am in this flooding universe. Hence why a lot of the songs are more aggressive and abrasive, because I'm fucking trying to get that shit off my chest. But that doesn't mean that there's not these moments of calm where I'm desperately trying to like ease the panic through all these years of having relentless panic attacks. And so the music that I feel represents that is very, very, very Momo is very is very, I think, close to You and Everything Blue. Like if I was writing, there's a lot of ties to You and Everything Blue. And if I was writing You and Everything Blue in 2025 and 2026, that's what it would be. So lots of delicate piano moments and very, yeah, just needs some polarity. If the album was only heavy the whole time, it would be really difficult to go through. And I want people to be able to feel like they can return to it. And I need it to be hopeful. Otherwise, I'm not even going to want to go back and listen to it if it's just all horrible and dark. Okay, let me check chat. Let me check. Also, thanks for shouting out Dom. I feel very proud to keep talking about him. And it's his birthday today, and that feels so bizarre to me because I know that deep down, I know that every year, but I didn't plan on releasing the record specifically on his birthday. If I'm being completely honest, that wasn't the plan at all. It was a weird spiritual coincidence, so I'm down for it. Let me just check chat. But yeah, that one's called Ice on the Road, and unlike a lot of this archived stuff, it is coming out. Oh yeah, JJ, you'll have to come and say what's up next time we tour as well, for sure, because we don't get too much opportunity to actually see people or do anything apart from play the show. So if you do get the chance to say hi, please let me encourage you to take it, because we're usually running around in work mode trying to figure out what's going on and, you know, get our shit together for the set and stuff. So if you ever get the chance to meet us at a show, please know that we're essentially at work. So it's like, please say hi if you get a chance to. Don't miss your chance, because we do our absolute best to see and meet people, but it can get quite busy and quite difficult. Okay, right. I think I've met back up with you, chat. Bear with. No, forgive me, I haven't. Okay. So yeah, that was favorite song on the new record. Oh my god, I lost half of my soul merch when I forgot my suitcase in Prague. Yeah, sorry, that's not relevant, but that is cold. Also, Sam, yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm very gassed. I'm very gassed to be. I mean, you've seen the rollout for this EP alone. I kept saying to my friends at the time, if I can get to 51%, then I can handle the next 49%. I just need to be well enough to be able to retake control. And ever since then, it's created a monster in me to the point where, yeah, we were, I feel like that's very apparent on the rollout for this record. It would not have been possible when I was freaking out. Let me just check this. Do you ever feel like if you had the skills to put it all, or pull it all off completely by yourself, the music would be much more true to you, much closer to what you want to convey? Do you think the concept of collaboration cuts off pieces of yourself? This is an interesting question, because I write all of the music and I make all the instrumentation with Jacob. I wouldn't say what we do is collaborative, because we have collaborative projects. and we have music that we work on together that are collaborations that are outside of Sully, hence why sometimes the songs will say featuring Arigod, because he will have maybe sang on the songs or been involved in the writing, like with Twinbee, where he was completely half of the project. Whereas with Sully, I write all of the music and Jacob will sit there with me. He's my fucking dog, by the way, my absolute brother. And his, I guess the words out of his mouth are, he's there to like aid the vision and to engineer the vision. So I'll turn up with my writing and my concept and all this kind of stuff, and then he'll help me make that a reality by engineering the sessions. And he's just extremely prolific and quick at being a producer. So we just move around the studio very quickly. But everything we write, all the instrumentation comes from me, all the writing comes from me. It's not like an ego thing, but like just genuinely, it's very, very important to us that it's like honest. And yeah, I wouldn't say the music is collaborative. I would say Jacob is engineering the vision and just does a wonderful job of it always. And the same goes for the visual identity. I sit down with mainly with Theodore. Recently, we've started working with an old friend, Alex. But predominantly, all of our run's been with Theo for the longest time. He's my right-hand man with the visual stuff. And it's exactly the same. We have ideas, I run them by him, and he'll be like, nope, that's stupid and crazy, or yes, that's doable, we can get it to do it like this. And then we've created a thing between all of us where like the guys just know what, like they know what we're looking for in regards to the end project. So like they yeah, I would say that we're all parts of the same thing, really. Yeah, I don't personally. I think collaborating with people cuts off. I think it like definitely can stop things from being integral, but I wouldn't say that what we do is a collaboration. I would say we're just, yeah, it's more like having bandmates, if I'm honest. Like we're all just working towards the same thing. Um, 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 um. Do you fuck with Tokyo Ghoul Ri? I love Tokyo Ghoul in general. I don't know if I feel like because I personally found Tokyo Ghoul through the anime, and I feel like I have to stick up for the anime as a whole. Like I feel like more people are like anything in the manga anime world. I feel like most people fuck with the manga, which makes more sense because it's open to your own imagination a lot more than when you watch something. But I love the anime, and I don't really. When I first started watching like this, what I would consider like the big second part of Tokyo Ghoul, like the first two seasons absolutely crushed me. They had my heart. I loved them so much. And when we moved into the second half, at first, like the direction with the art style and stuff, I was like, oh my god, I'm never gonna like this. It's so different. Um, and yeah, I ended up loving it. And I don't know. I just love Rabbit though, and I wish there was more of. I wish there was like, I wish Rabbit came back into it more, and I wish there was like they followed that story with Ken and Rabbit and Tego and stuff like a little bit more, because the coffee shop was so cute and I love the whole. Yeah, I better not get on one because I could just talk about it for ages. I do prefer the first half, but I feel like I still love it all. Crommy? Oh, I don't know. Is that Crommy in chat? I don't know. I might be far back on them ones. Bear with me, guys. Uh, JJ. JJ, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm really glad you feel that way because, like I said, it's not often that I'm coming on here and talking about this kind of stuff. So Yeah, I'm really glad that it helps. How do you decide what's worth releasing and keeping stuff unreleased? Um, Usually, it's I don't think that, apart from right at the beginning when we were trying to learn how to produce, like me and Jacob were trying to learn how to produce together. In the early, that's why the early Sully stuff's like the production value is like quite light, I would say, especially in like You and Everything Blue, for example. It's quite embryonic for us while we were still figuring it out. There was maybe then some stuff that we wrote and we kind of like didn't get it right. But for the most part, we don't usually write music that stays unreleased because we're not happy with it. What happens the most, I find, is we write a whole bunch for an era, get as much of it out within that era as possible, and then we move on to the next era, and sometimes some stuff gets like kind of scooped and trapped in this like void surrounding the era where like we haven't got it out in time. The album might be out by this point because every era has like an EP and then an album or like a few singles around the album. And sometimes it gets to a point where we move on so quickly that stuff gets a bit missed, and I don't know what to do with it because I still want to release it, but it's not too late, but like everything is very calculated. This is all part of like one big story. So like, I don't know. I still have music for the Fall Back Asleep with Me writing. I contributed to Twinbee. We started releasing the Twinbee stuff with my contribution to Fall Back Asleep with Me, like Jan 26. Obviously, Fall Back Asleep with Me. We know that. We can hear that. And there's writing that I have for that era that I just have, just like hidden away, that's like pretty fleshed out. And I don't know. I'm either going to put it on like, I don't know, maybe there'll be a time and place to put out Wake Up Next to Me, Fall Back Asleep with Me as like a whole project. Maybe there'll be a deluxe. I don't know. I don't really think I will go back to that sound, but who fucking knows? I have shit, like, I have loads of unreleased music. Okay, guys, bear with. I'm trying to get through this. Are you ever gonna do another live video? This is J Hat. Like I've been here without me or not for now. Let the Studio One take settings. Truthfully, I absolutely love that, and I think they're better than the originals. And yeah, I always want to do that. I literally always want to do those. The only reason we haven't done more of those is because whenever we're in the studio, there's always stuff to work on. There is no reason why. Like honestly, if we could, if as and when it gets to a point where Jacob and myself, as we reach more people and we get bigger and we can justify dropping everything to, like I don't do anything but Sully, but Jacob still has other stuff going on. As soon as me and him can have, like, as soon as I can basically like take up more of his time, then we will do more shit like this. But because he's got all his own stuff going on, and bless him, he gives me all the free time that he has to work on these projects. But until I can justify taking up more of his time, we can't do the fun shit like that because we have to prioritize the records that we're working on. You know, I got to big him up. That's my brother, though, innit? Like, he's the goat. Len, I feel more understood by you, the artist, than anyone I know personally, despite having great friends. Well, I really appreciate that you feel that way, and truthfully, that is genuinely how I feel all of the time, both with my fan base, my, I guess, friends. Fans feels like a weird word to use when you're close with your fans, but I feel like that with my fan base, and I feel like that with some other writers, truthfully. Man, I love you. I love you guys. There's a lot of love in this chat. I'm trying to catch up. Hi, Momo. Yo, Safe Mark. Mitzi, Shan. Yo, I feel like you may have... Momo! Love Momo. Momo has been my guardian angel for a very long time. Just keeping my head on through the mud over and over again. Thank you, Co. I feel like you may have already touched on this before, but what era were you on in Cologne 2024 when we met for the video shoot? Oh, I have that video. I've had that video for a long time. Okay, so that video, right, for that Cologne meetup was extremely important to me, and that was for Fall Back Asleep With Me. And that song is called Somebody Take a Hand. And that video has been finished and ready to release since 2024. Oh. I have the video. Let me see if I can give you a snippet. Somebody Take a Hand, it's called. I literally have it. But it has to make sense. I'm not out here just like dropping... I can't just like drop stuff that doesn't make sense. Like there's a bigger plan. But it was for Fall Back Asleep With Me. But realistically, before I was stepping into Fall Back Asleep With Me, look, my head's chaotic, right? But before I was stepping into Fall Back Asleep With Me, I had a small few down moments that I thought would be the perfect bridging point with Back for the Summer, Somebody Take a Hand, and a couple others. And they're all the start of Fall Back Asleep With Me, and they are the bridge between Wake Up and Fall Back. And look, honestly, I can't show you on stream because I don't have it on this laptop. But to prove to you, this is the vid. Oh, look how cute. It's literally one of my favorite things we've ever done. Look how good it is. It's so cute. It's hands down, one of my favorite things we've ever done. And because of it, I can't rush it. So it will come out at some point, and I love you for it. But because it was such a massive thing, and because so many people came together and did something so beautiful, it just has to be its own thing. And it sure as hell can't come out with the flooding, because the flooding is such a different vibe to this. And this is like, yeah, so its own thing. But now, for real, it's. I mean, let me show you more. Such a good question, because I mean, like, it's a really unique thing, I reckon. Like, I know people do meet and greets and stuff, but we held a meetup in a different country last minute with, like, we only posted about it twice. We used the What 3 Words location for people to reach. And I had never even been to this part of Cologne. I just had a friend from Cologne show me like a place we could go to where the police weren't going to shut it down. This is for anyone that doesn't know. And I got a couple of the homies. We got in a car. We drove to Cologne in like a day and a half. We just drove across the border to Antwerp, stayed in Antwerp, immediately drove to Cologne. I think it was on my birthday, or like the day after my birthday or some shit, which is irrelevant. I don't know why I brought that up. And oh yeah, because you wished me happy birthday in the video. And loads of fucking people showed up. And there was only one person there that was from Cologne, or that told me they were from Cologne, or maybe two, and then everyone else had just traveled in from fucking miles away, different countries and shit. They'd all flown in, and I tried to make it modest so that it didn't get shut down, but I also didn't want to make it too modest that no one showed up, because we were driving all the way to fucking Germany in like a day to do it. And loads of people showed up, and then people kept showing up. And then there was even a homie from New Zealand who'd been listening for years, who was randomly in Cologne for 2 weeks and just was like, what the fuck? And then just like turned up and showed love. And it's just too important. And also, no show, no merch, no promise of anything. I just wanted to hang. I just wanted to hang out. You know, sometimes you want to hang out. So I was like, come hang out with me. But I also wanted to go to Germany at the time. So I was like, well, maybe I'll go to Germany and I'll hang out there, because that would work. And like, let's see if we can get people to come to Germany and hang out there with me. And I just sort of did it to just see what would happen. And like, maybe I'll catch a couple people. And then people just would not stop showing up. I'm not exaggerating. Look. It's Yana again. But look. Look. Can you see that shit? No, not really. Look. Zoe is there somewhere. Look, we're taking photos and shit. Look. What the fuck? So cute. It's the best ever. I even bumped into a couple of fans when I was in Berlin at the start of last year, and we sat down and I showed them this video. There's Anna. Look, I'm not even, look, there's no cap in, fam. Look at this. Look, that's a different group of people still. More new people. Nice, look. Me and Yana, Anna again, to be fair, but giving me some shampoo or some shit. Look, we're taking photos and that. We got to the same point. But yeah, I'm not even joking. It went off. And the video, do you want to hear the track? My face in the glass. Now I don't know if this is a final. Reflect my situation. But listen. I'm just trying to be on my phone last, but I'll see you this evening. Somehow you're acting sus. Trying to call when I'm out with my friends on the weekend. Man, I think I've had enough. Too busy for both of us in here. Somebody take her hand. Somebody take her hand. I'm just trying to be on the road more than I think of you lately. Every time it's sad enough. And leave town cause I know you're around imitating someone that I used to trust. I'm sad contemplating. Somebody take her. Just a quick side note. We're shopping. We're just shopping real quick. Sometimes you just gotta fucking cop some shit, man. Yeah, we're just shopping, fam. This is Jacob just buying a couple things. Look, that's my homie Fabs. Shouts to Fabs. I can't seem to shake her from out of the tree. I know out of the season she won't seem to fall. When will I learn how to drive myself mad, knowing she probably don't think about me at all? I'm sick of the waiting. That's just us on the escalator levels. Somebody take her. Secret shot from the blue and blue. You know. my situation and laugh. My heart crumples underneath me like the leaves as I'm pacing the park. I try leave to relate from afar, but can't see how we stable if we table every time we apart. I'm not great, but I'm grateful you asked. I can't wait for us. What's ours if I'm painting every page for us? Take my hands to my paper and try to pay for us, but really who's facing which way when it comes to saving us? You bent my arms so far they break and holding me tight to the pavement, watching me folding at every line that you argue impatient. Can't stay when this apartment's my heart and it's aching. I'm just trying to be up my phone last week. I see you this evening. Somehow you were acting sus. Trying to call when I'm out with my friends. Can you see why? Look, I'm getting emotional with this shit. Like, can you seriously see? This is some look, come on, man. Look, I didn't know it was gonna be so sick. I knew we got a lot of love, but this is something special. When you barely even tell your fans, like, look, I'm going to be here. There's nothing. I'm offering nothing. I'm just showing up. No show, no nothing. If you want to hang. It makes me feel very grateful. I'm just saying. It makes me feel very blessed. On a weekend, when I think of, I don't know, it's too busy for both of us and you. Somebody take her hand. I'm just trying to be on the road more than I think of you lately. Every time it's adding up and leave town cause I know you around imitating someone that I used to trust. I'm so contemplating. Somebody take a hand. Okay, there's more, so you get the vibe. But can you imagine how touched I felt knowing that people were showing up like that for me and to hang? It was like I've gone on a tangent with that. That was such a good question. That song is so important to me. That trip was so important to me. Side note, J-Hat, I love you. Side note, in that tiny amount of time that we drove out, 5 of us in this little whip, we drove out to Germany, and in that tiny amount of time, we also shot the video for the Blue and Blue Looks Like Rain spontaneously. Gang, gang. So that's all I'm saying. It was the best weekend. I loved it. It was my first step back into doing anything with Sully. And I've just held it very close to my heart since, and maybe forgot to release it. But can you imagine, like, for real, can you imagine how special that feels? Like, being on the other side of that. Like, I feel so lucky and grateful, and that's so special to me that, I mean, we had so many people there all day, and they were just the best people. It was so lush. Everyone was super friendly with each other. They were looking after each other. Everyone was like making friends and hanging out and not making anyone feel unincluded or it was really special. So I'll drop that at some point for you, for you guys. Anyone that was involved or wasn't involved, any of the guys that want to see this, any of the fans that want to see this, I will drop it 100%. It just hasn't made sense yet because it's such like a. I honestly don't even know whether to just drop it in the Discord for the fans so that it can be yours separately, because it doesn't. It's like this thing that just doesn't even like make sense in my album rollouts, because it's this encapsulation of this really, really beautiful time and experience, and I'm moved. I was moved then and I'm still moved now. I felt very lucky. Yeah, J Hat. I'm so far back on these comments. Yeah, it's been fucking freezing. Look, go watch Bugs again and tell me it doesn't look cold. Do you know what? I really planned on us playing some games tonight, chat, but maybe this is better. We can just hang and then I'll get out of your hair. But it's nice to be able to share these moments with you. And like I said, everything that we do is always a one-off. Like, I'm not out here trying to make anything. Yeah, I'm not out here trying to like. Yeah, it starts to pull away from these authentic moments if you overdo it. So it's nice to have this moment with you. Yeah, maybe next time we're gonna hang out and play games and just chill like normal or whatever. But yeah, for real, if anyone's got questions, fire them, because this is definitely the time and place. I'm just reading back on the comments from when I was playing Ice on the Road. Yeah, I'm really glad you guys fuck with it. It's 100% coming out, I promise you that. By the way, guys, sorry I've been a little bit distracted, but anyone dropping bits and shit like that, like, come on. You never have to do that. You know I love you for that. Sam, love you. I didn't see you had to bounce if you've gone. Fuck's sake. Thank you, Jay Hat. I'm just trying to catch up with where we're at here. Fuck's sake, guys. Drop the cologne. Yeah. I wonder if there's other shit actually that maybe I wonder if there's anything else that I was meant to release that I forgot that I can show you guys. I'm just trying to catch up. It was really special, the Cologne thing. I don't know how many people came because I wasn't counting, but I can tell you one thing. When we pulled up, it was in this big open, I don't know, like open park space by a mall. And there was this absolutely humongous group of people, and I walked over with Anna. I'm pretty sure I met them on the way over, I think, a couple of people. And I was like, there's no fucking way that's the group. And they were like, yeah, that's must be them. And I noticed a couple of people wearing Sully merch, and I remember pulling up and being like, oh my God, what have we done? Because I just thought the police, if there was too many people, the police were going to shut it down, and then what the fuck do we do? And also there were some little dweebs that were like, they clocked that we were trying to shoot for a music video, and they just kept getting in the way, and everyone was dealing with it really well, and I didn't know what to do because they were obviously like nice enough kids, but they were just being little terrors, just like getting in the way and fucking trying to like, I don't know, I think they thought we were famous or some shit because we had a camera crew, but what can I say? Off topic, but what's your favorite Pokemon? Easy, Celebi, number one. Then maybe Jirachi. Anything small and mythical. Mew. I like the stupid shit from Gen 2, like Snubble and anything back in the era when they were like small and fat and pink. They're the best Pokemon in my opinion. But sometimes the really bad shit's cool as well, like Altaria and fucking Titar and shit like that. It depends, innit? On the playthrough, sometimes I'll play with a crazy team and sometimes I just play with the stuff that I like, but I'm always switching it up every playthrough because I just have so many different favorite Pokemon depending on how or what I'm playing. There's not many Pokemon I really don't like, to be honest. But Cam, what the fuck? Come on, bro. Cam, what the fuck, bro? What, Cameron, what is on, fam? Come on, just, you ain't got to play like that, broski. Fuck's sake, you guys. Thank you, bro. Thank you. What are you doing? Thank you, bro. You look crazy. Okay, hang on a sec. I'm trying to get through these questions. Is there some sort of inspo for the piano riff in Capitol Hill? Feels like being in some sort of jazz club in Chicago or some similar stuff. Yeah, it's really very much so that vibe. It's the only piano on the whole album that's sampled, and it's a loop that has cut from some crazy dusty rare jazzy shit. And we had a different version of Capitol Hill as well, a completely different version. And K-Dot, come on, guys, you don't have to drop bits. We're just talking. You don't have to drop bits. Guys, you can just chill for free. You can just chill for free, J-Hat. I get it if we're gaming or like we're playing. I get it, gamers. I get it. Like if we're playing Pokemon or some shit, I get it. But guys, come on. We're talking about Pokemon here. You don't have to pay. I think Kate thinks that bits are free and doesn't know that it's real money. You don't have to pay to be here, guys. Remember, it's free. There's not much I care about the 1975, but Matt Healy says that whole bit with Zane Lowe when he's like talking about people charging for VIPs. Now, personally, I've got friends that charge for VIPs. I'm not against it, but I just want you to know that it's not my thing. I'm not charging for a VIP. If you want to come say hi, say hi. If you want to chill in the chat, you do not have to pay. If you want a photo or if you want to show love, you ain't got to pay at all. You don't have to do any of that shit. You definitely ain't got to pay. No shade to people that are doing the VIP thing, by the way. I'm not the VIP. Yeah, Gumi, love Gumi. I'm happy to talk about Pokemon, but it's boring for people that aren't into it. Will Alex be featuring... Momo, stop the fucking... Gang, remember... You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay. Please. Remember, I love you guys. Thank you so much, Cameron, by the way. I've just seen your message as well. But guys, please. You ain't got to pay. We can just talk. Mitzi, will Alex be featured on any of the new Sully material? He won't be featuring. No. But he's involved now. He's been pulling up and has been. He filmed The Room with me, and we filmed Careful with the Ground, which is important because Careful with the Ground is essentially a Crook song in its essence. It's like a reply, and so I guess it makes sense for him to shoot that. And we shot Bugs. We shot Bugs together. J-Hat, you don't have to... J-Hat, I swear to God. Gang, listen, I'm not going to repeat myself. You do you, okay, but you don't have to pay to be here. We can just chat. You can ask questions for free. Len, for fuck's sake. Gang, you don't have to drop. We can just hang out. It's blessed. Remember. Just remember that. Mitzi, no. Alex won't be featuring, but he's very invested right now. He's very involved. He's been lending his expertise and just showing love. And honestly, he's pulled up to like, the way he came into this was because we just were having a meeting and he was like, I want to help. And like, if you need more, like, I don't know what the expression is. If you want more people in the team right now to like just be as prolific as possible, he was like, I got you, bro. So he's been helping out and he's been amazing. And the best thing about Alex is he has been very encouraging and his spirit has been unfathomable. Mitzi, what the fuck? You don't gotta pay, guys. Gang, remember, you don't have to pay. Alex he was the one that shot bugs with me whilst Theo was unable to be on the shoot, even though Theo was involved in everything else. And it was just me and Alex, and that motherfucker kept me on business. So, oh, what's up, Houdini? He I might be wrong, but I think Houdini's my number one, but it might be a different Houdini. I don't know. But I think Houdini got most. Len, the fuck? Guys, you ain't got to pay. Stop. You don't have to pay. Chill. Just stream my shit. That's what I'm saying. Stream my shit and come to my shows. You want to buy the merch or whatever. J-Hack. Oh my god. You don't have to pay, guys. Just run the record, please. Not that we really get paid from that, but I don't know. Do me a favor, tell one person about what we're doing that's gonna give a shit. That's the most impactful thing, and you guys don't have to pay. I'm very grateful, don't get me wrong. But we don't, you know what I'm saying. I'm not acting like we're not trying to get fed here, but I don't want you feeling like you gotta pay to be here. That's twisted. Do you have a master set for your favorite Pokemon TCG? Whoa. I have a master base set, Fossil, Jungle, and nearly Rocket. And I'm working on a master set for Neo, Everything But Destiny. And my favorite is Rocket, Jim, and Destiny. No, and Neo as a whole, I would say. Maybe not Destiny, maybe Genesis. Neo as a whole. My favorite sets are Neo, Gym Heroes, Gym Legends, and Rocket are my favorite sets by a million miles. And I like some of the e-reader stuff. I just like it when the artwork was super ugly and goofy. But yeah, I only have a master set for base set, and yeah, I only have base set. I think Fossil and Jungle, and nearly Rocket. I think I need like 4 cards for Rocket, but I've got the hidden. I got the secret rare from Momoko, who's in this chat. I got the Raichu from Momoko. Fuck's sake, you guys. Fuck's sake. But so I guess no, I don't have a master set for my favorite sets yet because I'm still working on them. But I like base set, and I had to get that first, get that shit out of the way. Guys, for fuck's sake, please ask me questions. No more pain. We're not. I get it if we're playing games, but no one's gaming. You don't have to pay to hang out. Oh, Momo said goodnight, and I missed it. Momo, I love you. Sorry, I'll text you. Okay, I'm catching up. Houdini. Yo, shouts Houdini. Houdini was my most listened to on the I hope you don't mind me saying Houdini. Houdini was my most listened to 2025. Top 0.111 0.001%, I think. I'll be putting all my exes on Sully music, fam. Yeah, I mean, that I can definitely fuck with. Evolving Skies and Surging Sparks, though. Yeah, modern sets, though, like, I've been going for a master set of Shining Fates, because that was the set that got me back into modern cards. So, me and the gang we've all tried to, yeah, we're pretty close on Shining Fates. Yeah, that's what I would, that's what I would say. Okay, guys, I think I'm at the bottom of chat. Does anyone have any other questions? Because I think it doesn't make sense for us to play anything. But I'm not about to jump off. If anyone else still wants to hang, if they've got anything they want to talk to me about, I think I still have a little bit of time if you guys want to chill for a bit longer. And if you have any questions about the record, or if you have any questions about music or anything at all, then this has been fun, and I'm here to just hang and answer your questions for the first time in a min. Plus, when we go to the shows and stuff, like, we never get chance to do this kind of thing because it's usually very brief when we get to meet people and we just say hi, and then we, like, usually it's when the venues are kicking people out and stuff. So it's nice to be able to actually talk for a second if anyone's got anything that they want to chat about. And if not, that's blessed. I just have to send a message. Thanks, chat. J-Hat, what's your thoughts on all this madness with people scalping Pokemon cards lately? I think it's absolutely horrendous. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's fucking mental. And if you buy something and it gains value and you sell it and you make your profit, fine, whatever. I own things that essentially have gone up in value since buying them, whatever, right? But stopping other people from being able to enjoy the hobby, and stopping kids from being able to buy Pokemon cards, buying all of the Pokemon stock so that kids can't get into the hobby or whatever, or people that just want to buy a little thing because they don't have a lot of cash or whatever. If you're stopping that, then you're the problem, man. I hate that. It makes me angry. I've never seen people doing it in public, and I don't think it's as bad in the UK. But I think it's really fucked up because I'm only into Pokemon because I was into it as a kid. Right. Thanks. Thank you. Just K-Dot bringing me the most water you've ever seen. Wow. Shouts to K-Dot letting me stream in a yard and bringing me water. I only look in the Discord, but your music has saved me many times and your artistry inspires me to create as well. Thank you so much. Hey, it's my pleasure completely. And you're very welcome to be in the Discord, even if you don't socialize. It's very open for anyone that wants to come and chill. And truthfully, with the way that social media is these days, it's just the best place to be connected and be around, to be updated with what we got going on. So not only am I very grateful for you being there, but you're very welcome to just chill, and you don't have to ever pull up or be social or whatever. Any advice on how to find someone like Ari to work with? Len, it's a tricky question because Jacob and me have been making music together since we were literally like kids, and he joined Crooks when I would argue, like when he joined with another guy, and if that was the first time it properly felt like we were going anywhere. So for me, even though it's not the case effectively, he feels like he was there from the very beginning, and we've just never really not been making music together, and that was a long time ago. However, I've linked with other musicians and I've worked with other musicians just by putting myself out there. So it's such a stupid answer, like it's such an obvious answer, but I would just say that just make it clear that you're looking to work with producers or collaborate with other musicians in general, depending on what you want to do. If you want it to be your own thing, though, it's pretty easy to learn how to produce. Like, yeah, you can make your own instrumentation and stuff pretty easily nowadays. I feel like it's a lot easier than it used to be when we were coming up in music. Even at the start of Sully, it was less available. But the reason I like working with Az and working with other people is it's very inspiring being in the room with your friends. I think it's so much more creative when you have other people to bounce off and work off, and we meet up in the morning and we drink coffee together and we discuss the plan for the day and we get to work, and it's like very prolific because we're encouraging each other and staying motivated. And when you're just by yourself, sometimes it can be difficult to I personally find it harder to get going, like, and then I end up working until stupid late because I don't really start working until later in the day and stuff. Whereas it with the homie, like, you can stay locked in. I would just put yourself out there. I've even put shit up on my fucking story before, even years after I started Sully, being like, we need more producers or whatever, or we need someone for this thing. Yeah, I think no matter who you are, you just always put yourself out there. You'll find someone for sure. What's the most important goal for Sully in the near future? If I'm being really truthful, I know that I've been conscious of being on the long game with all of this. Like, I don't want to compromise what we say or do in order to try and reach more people quicker. I just want to make the music I make, and if it reaches more people, then it does, and then I'm gassed. But I'm not going to compromise the music I make in order to try and get bigger quicker for the sake of being more successful. I prefer building and cultivating a community and like just having a real like sense of family here in with Sully and the whole movement around 42 and LG and Space World. I know it's a slow game, and I know that it literally involves a lot of the time like getting people invested one by one, where we're lucky enough to reach new people and they fuck with what we're doing, and then they come in and they see the movement and they like support it. But the goal always is to help more, and if we're helping people with what we're doing, I get obsessed with it and I want to help more. I want to stand on stage in front of more people and be more impactful. If I had the choice of standing on stage in front of 100,000 people and playing music that got those people moving, over if I got to stand on stage in front of 500 people but had those people moved, I would much rather be in front of a smaller audience and make more of an impact. Because if I wanted to make music that was just to get people moving, I would have changed direction a long time ago and probably be in a very different position right now. So yeah, I want to just continue making an impact positively, but yeah, this year it's going to be relatively abrasive because this era and this record is much more visceral and abrasive. But yeah, I really think that stands a chance of helping people. I know there's a lot of people out there like me that struggle with the same kind of mental constraints that the flooding encapsulates. So yeah, my goal this year is to reach more people in the right, most effective way, and yeah, that is really it. Because everything else isn't a goal. We're already doing it. put the record out, it's already set in motion. Put the videos out the way we're doing it, tick. Play the shows, like we already got the agent. J-Hat, what the fuck? Stop, fam. Come on. Stop. Stop. You don't have to pay to be here. You don't have to pay to be here. The door's already open, fam. The door's already open, fam. We're not gaming, gamer. We're just chilling. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. So many good questions. Where do you see yourself as an artist in 10 years? Glenn, for fuck's sake, stop, guys. You don't have to pay. Guys, please, you gotta know, you don't have to pay. I'll tell you what. Ask me another question. I will answer it for free. You already do enough. You pull up relentlessly. I have a crazy fan base here. You don't need to pay. You support us as much as you guys can. I see that already. Please just ask a question. You don't have to pay. I'll answer almost definitely, unless it's some dumb shit. Where do you see yourself as an artist in 10 years? I have no idea, because I never even know what the next album's going to sound like sonically. All I know is the music needs to, like, when I started writing for Sully, the music didn't translate the same way live because I had too much energy and the music was too calm, and the shows were odd because I couldn't stop moving. And I'm very fit and healthy still, and so I'm going to say I'm probably still going to want the music to have some kind of impact, because it really bugs me out when artists just only make, like, I feel like people get to a certain age and then they all just make shoegaze, and it's blessed, but like it's planned. Stop, I swear to God. It's blessed, but I don't want to slow down. I don't want to like calm my music down and just chill. I feel like it always needs to have polarity and dynamic range for me personally. Like, I just want to be able to run around on stage. That's why it's so challenging to play You and Everything Blue, because the songs are so cool, but like they're slow. So if you look at the live footage of me playing You and Everything Blue, it looks crazy because I'm moving like crazy. The songs aren't heavy. And I came back from the tour and I said to Ari, we need to change the BPM of the next record because it doesn't translate very well live, because I'm moving around like mad. So I don't care what the music sounds like in 10 years, as long as the stage is bigger and I can run around it. I'm in the UK right now shooting for the record, and I'm back in the studio on the album, I don't know, next month or some shit. I'm back in the studio then, finishing the flooding, because we usually start releasing before the album's finished so that it all exists at the same time. So I'm back in the UK right now. Not my favourite place in the world, if I'm honest, but I'm from the UK, so I'm allowed to say that. It's just so grey here at the moment. Any merch drop soon? I got loads of archived merch that I spent forever creating, but we've had like really weirdly like we've hit loads of speed bumps with finding the right company to take our merch on to sell for us. That's why the merch is always limited, because we have to send it ourselves in our little team here, and it's really challenging, and we never make any money on it because there's always problems with the post, and we always end up having to send out all the spares, and it's always just like a big challenging thing. I feel like it should be easy after all these years, and for some reason we just seem to land like badly on it. I, for example, have given away nearly every single item of merch I've ever owned, because if someone messages me saying something got lost in the mail or whatever, I've sent it out just to make sure that everyone gets their merch on time. So yeah, I have a whole collection for the flooding that's yet to drop because I've not found the right production team. So I have like, I don't know if this will land, but I have like this long sleeve that I love. Let me see if this will show. I have this. Let me see if this will show. I have this long sleeve here. Let me see. Can I get it to land? Nah. Oh. Nah, I can't get it. You get the vibe. You kind of get the vibe. I can't get it to land. You can kind of see it. My phone's fucking out. I got this crazy white long sleeve that I think I posted at one point. Oh, you're never gonna be able to see this shit. Nah, I can't show you guys. I'm sorry. My camera won't. Oh, shit. Nah, I can't show you. Yeah, I can't show you. I'm very sorry. But I have a whole collection. And we haven't found the right manufacturer yet, and one thing at a time. I'm working on physical music and stuff for the shows, so because we have to do it all ourselves still, and we haven't found the right company, sometimes it's easier not to do it because I just want everything to be as smooth as possible. So hence why we haven't done it yet. Are we getting any new Lone Gang or Twin B music in the future? I have some unreleased Twin B here. Well, here's the thing. Doors are so overwhelming, Len, by the way, and they are so overwhelming until you get it, and then it's just not the case. So my advice would be just dive in, because it doesn't take long until you figure it out, and then you'll be so happy that you did it. And also, you know, it's like you can learn how to do anything on fucking YouTube or whatever online these days. So I would just try it. When you try, you already succeed because people don't try. You can't fail if you try. I think the frame of mind, the real shift for me this year, especially like while coming out of last year, is the understanding that you don't fail when you go for it. I was always like getting worked up, being like, oh, this hasn't been as successful as I hoped, or this hasn't landed as much as I hoped. And it's like, 99% of people just don't go for it. So just go for it. Like, you can't fail if you try. I really think that that's the frame of mind that people should just hold on to more, is that the second you go for it, like, you're already succeeding over every single person that wanted to do it and didn't do it. What have you got to lose? Just give it a go. And yeah, I think the failing is not doing it. The failing isn't trying it. The failing is just not going for it. So why not go for it? And if you have an idea for something and then you don't do it, that doesn't mean you're a failure either. It just means you didn't do it. I just think if you really want to do something, you can't fail if you try. It sounds so corny, but like, changed my whole life thinking like that. Like, just do it anyway. J-Hat, what the fuck? No, listen. J-Hat, listen. I would have said it for free. I would I would have said it for. I'll say it again, fam. You know, just do the thing. Just do the fucking thing. You can't fail. I'm failing at getting J Hat to stop dropping bits. Please. You know I love you, J Hat. I really appreciate it. I just don't want you guys feeling like you have to pay to be here, because you really don't. And I'm just grateful to be able to have a space to talk to you guys for a sec. Because, yeah, if you want me to keep making music, then my priority has to go into that, because it takes fucking forever. And all of this stuff that we make look pretty easy takes so much time, so much energy, and so long. So if you ever think, oh man, them lot are putting things out pretty swiftly, it's a hell of a lot of work. It's a hell of a lot of sleepless nights, and it's a hell of a lot of commitment to the bit. So, and it comes before everything in my life. And yeah, so getting to stop and chat for a second is very rare. New Lone Gang or Twin B? We started Lone Gang because we used to make a lot of rap for fun, so we just wanted someone to put it. And we did write more music, but again, it started to get serious, so it didn't. Oh my god, Kate. So we didn't. Thank you, Kate. So we didn't. We didn't put any more LG stuff out because we were prioritizing Sully, and Sully started to get more serious, so we started to put more time and energy into that. And we were doing Wake Up Next to Me at the time, which was a monster of a project, because me and Jacob recorded every single fucking instrument that's recorded on that album. We did everything. We programmed all the drums. We did everything. Neither of us even played drums. It took forever. Yeah, it's an illusion that there's a band on that record. There's no band on that record. But that's why LG had to pause for a sec so we could focus on that. And then Twin B, I have other unreleased Twin B shit. But here's the thing. Jacob's contribution to Twin B and my contribution to Twin B, they were two different things that made that more collaborative sound. My contribution to Twin B was what would have been the start of Fall Back Asleep with Me. So Fall Back Asleep with Me, the start of it, I think is wrapped up in Twin B. So truthfully, I'm either going to take over Twin B myself so that Ari can focus on the new Ari God music, and then I'll release through Twin B myself, and then Jacob can come in and out of it as he pleases, or I will maybe one day take the music and put it with the rest of the stuff, and we'll do like a deluxe for Wake Up or something like that. Because Jan 26 is one of my favorite songs of all time, and it's a bit gutting for me that it got wrapped up in this confusing motion, not knowing what to do with our projects and stuff. So that's what's up, and I have like a bunch of unreleased shit for that era. From the rest of the gang, but it's been a hot minute since you streamed last. Yeah, J Hat, it has been a sec. I've just been busy doing the record, really. And also, I have to. Guys, this is getting out of hand. Thank you so much, but you don't. Guys, remember, you can ask me questions for free. You don't have to pay to be here. I love you so much. I really love you, but please know that it's free to be here. I love you for sure. Maybe we can do something nice with the cash, but just please know you can be here for free. The door's already open. Let me get through these. God, I love you guys. Oh, here we go. Oh, despite not being part of the flooding, I believe I just want to say how much careful means to me. It instantly went up, similar to my favorite soul stuff from long ago. Yeah, careful with the ground is a really weird one because it's essentially a return to. Thank you, Len. But I will reply anyway. I'm gonna reply now anyway. Thank you, guys. J guys, please, please. I will reply. You can be here for free. Guys, you can be here for free. You can be here. You don't have to pay to be here. Please. J Hat's gifting subs like crazy. Okay, I'm gonna get through these questions quickly. Careful with the ground. I went into the studio. We'd listened to Crooks a bunch. Windy Little Town. I don't know if anyone in this chat knows this shit, but because this is, guys. Yo, fam. Thank you. Thank you very much. Careful with the ground. Happened like that in the middle of all these other tracks, and when the studio gets hectic and heavy and we're writing a big heavy record, sometimes you just need to come up for air, and Careful with the Ground was just one of those moments where we went in. I don't know if you know this, Len, but Careful with the Ground is live. It's live. So we never speak about this shit because I don't think it really matters. But it's completely live. We set up some kind of like stuff with my vocals so that it sounds good, like all the like normal effects, like the reverb and shit that I would have. But it's two mic. I'm gonna put my hand down. It's two mics set up, and one at the guitar and one that I'm singing into, and it's a live recording. That's why there's no click track, no BPM. And I went into the studio, we recorded it that day. Mitzi, for fuck's sake, guys, you don't have to pay. I love you, but you don't gotta pay. Oh, I love you. Thank you very much, all of you, for being so gracious and for looking after me and essentially my team. I really appreciate the support. I'm sure that's clear by this point. Careful with the Ground is live. It was nothing was written. We came into the studio and we just essentially like freestyled is a gross word to use, but it just happened. It's just a couple of chords. It just happened. I knew we wanted to do it. I had the idea of doing the Windy Little Town Part 2. I love the song and I feel like it didn't get enough attention back in the day because it was recorded awfully, and GG. And I went in, we did the track. It was finished that day. It was finished in about 4 hours, and then we just released it. It's very, very, very like is what it is. Or maybe we went in the next day and did some extra vocals. I think I added some harmonies the next day, but that's it. I'm glad you really like it because I really like it. And it, essentially, even though it's like a moment of coming up for air in the flooding rollout, it's still J-Hat. Fam. The gifted. J-Hat, I love you. You know I love you. You don't have you know you don't have to do this shit. You know that, right? We're not gaming. If we're gaming, like I'll accept it because I know what I'm doing. If I'm pulling up to Twitch and we're gaming, look, I get it. It's like going to a fucking show, okay? I don't think, when that Nuzlocke is stressful, I will accept all of your money if we're gaming because we have to work, me and Peach, when when we're playing these motherfucking Nuzlocks, give me your cash for sure. But I will hang out here. This does not count. I'm in my downtime. I'm not at work, fam. You don't have to pay to be here. I love you guys. I love you guys, but you don't gotta pay to be here. We're just hanging out tonight. This is a different stream. Silly sausages. J-Hat, for fuck's sake. J-Hat. Fam, it. Guys, listen. You're making me feel like I owe you the fucking J-Hat. Seriously. You're making me feel like I owe you the next stream. If I'm streaming, if I'm gaming, fam, J-Hat, the fuck. If I'm gaming, fam, I've got you, right? But you don't have to pay to be here. I'm not saying it again. You don't. No, I nearly said it again. I love you, but you guys are crazy. Okay, I'm going to try and get some more questions in before it gets too late. I love you guys, honestly. And look, it is the release of the first chapter today. I just want to remind you, I know we're here to hang out, but at its core, I want to share this moment with you because this record, this whole thing means a lot to me. And the EP that dropped today is the start of that. And you know what's up. We're going to drop the album. We're going to put the shows on. This year is going to be massive for us, as me as an artist, us as a community. And yeah, I'm very, very, very grateful for all of that. And I'm glad you're already locked in this early on, because it's not even fucking February and we've already just achieved a crazy amount. Oh, this is such a good one, JJ. Oh no, wait, hang on, I don't want to miss anyone. Len, when can I get the tattoo I first asked for years ago? That's my question. I'm not tattooing. I'm not tattooing right now, so maybe in the future, hopefully. Love ya, but I can't do it right now. I haven't tattooed in about a year because I don't even have enough time to do this. The Sully thing takes 7 days a week, so I can't make any tattoos at the minute. But maybe one day for sure. And if it's the case, probably in Berlin, because I've got some customers out in mainland that I want to finish some projects on at some point, but as soon as I can. Who would be an artist you'd love to collab with on a song? I think the most suited and the most realistic for the song to actually make sense. JJ, this is a good question. Okay. My answer would have been a lot of my friends in music. So in no particular order: Nothing Nowhere, Lontalius, Gucci, Ollie Francis, yeah, like really obvious ones, like my crew. So Ari, yeah, like really, really obvious stuff. So I already had the feature with Lontalius. I would love to work with him again. I adore him. I already had the feature with Nothing Nowhere, and I would love to work with Joe again. And actually, the last time I saw Joe, I was like, we need to relink. So I would love to get another one with him. There's a secret release with Gucci, Sully, and Arigod that never saw the light of day. And we wanted to put it out as a 3, because you know Gucci's our fucking boy, right? There's a release which is Gucci, Soul, Arigod, but we wanted to put it out as all 3 of us. So it's like just like a collab between the three of us, and I think that Jacob honestly has like a big part to play as the producer in that song. So I think like it's a good like three-way combo. But at the time, someone from Morgan's team thought that it sounded more like a Sully song, and they wanted to put it out as like Sully featuring Gucci, and we had already wanted to put it out as like the three of us, and it just didn't happen. And we have the song. This was fucking years ago, fam. This was after the last tour, immediately after the last tour. So arguably, even though it's unreleased, Gucci, Lontalius, Joe, and Oliver Francis is my dog. Like Alex is my boy. We're like I fuck with him so hard. Everything he does, I'm a huge Ollie F fan, and we've been connected since the very first year I was doing Sully. He was showing me love because of Crooks and stuff. Yeah, we go way back, and we met out in Antwerp spontaneously. When I'd only been doing Sully like less than a year, I bumped into him outside a festival in Antwerp in the middle of the night. It was like 1 a.m. or something, and he knew me from Crooks, which was really weird because I was listening to Ollie F at the time, and he came running up to, well, not running sounds ridiculous. He came up to me and I went up to him and I was like, no way. And he was trying to tell his homie that I was the guy from Crooks. And guys, thank you. I was trying to tell Ollie, I was trying to tell, no, I think it was Seb. I was trying to tell the homie I was with that was Ollie. And we had this really weird moment where we connected. And from then, we've been linked, and I've been trying to get a track with him. But I've got a couple tracks with Aries, and I've got a track with Theodore, which is unreleased since he's got his new project, Phantom Lane. So most of the homies I've got features with. But because when I was in Crooks, I only did features with people, I didn't really know them. And then some of the people I did features with, I was like, I don't really know why I did that, because I wasn't friends with them. So I only really want to feature with people I know personally. If I had a feature with an artist that I didn't know personally, I think it would probably be Jean Dawson. I think that would be a good collab. Or maybe like Wall Sockets era underscores would be a good collab. But she's doing some amazing pop stuff at the moment, which obviously would be crazy for us to. It's just like would not work. Yeah, I think Jean Dawson would be really fucking cool. But yeah, mainly the homies. But yeah, I forgot about that one with Morgan, fam. We got one together, and it's very peculiar, and I really fuck with it. But it's very weird. J-Hat, I had a dream the other night that I was at Sully's show and I bought a Newfound Glory vinyl for Soul. If you pop up in the UK, I'll bring you. J-Hat, I'm not going to get materialistic or like stay on this point for any longer than it needs to be. But if you ever did come and gift me the Catalyst vinyl, I would love you forever, because I've been trying to get that vinyl for the longest time. It's always been at times when it's come up and I haven't been able to justify grabbing it when it has, and then I've missed it. But Catalyst is top 5 favorite records of all time for me, and I missed the only release they ever did on vinyl. And I'm not a massive vinyl collector. I've like downsized quite a bit, but it's absolutely top of my fucking list. Catalyst is one of the most influential records of my life, and I think probably the most influential record for Crooks ever. And even though people saw Crooks as like a heavier band, Catalyst is like listening to Catalyst, these massive anthemic choruses. If you don't think of that record as a pop punk record and you listen to it blind as just like a band making an album, that album is incredible. There's so many huge, unbelievable, like just the most incredible choruses. Like it's just like an absolute 101 how to write an impactful, meaningful chorus in the most incredible way. It's such a step-by-step guide of how to be a good songwriter. That album is just incredible, but I think it only gets love in the pop punk world because they are like such a pop punk band. But like I'm not like the biggest pop punk fan at all. That just is an album that stands on it as its own pillar to me. Unreal. And I don't own it. So if you ever bring me that, that's it, man. That's you never ever have to drop bits again. My God, I'll stream to just you, fam, for as long as you want. That is that album is. I was listening to it this week. Um. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have a look at this. So if I'm still talking at 11 o'clock, I'm jumping off. So 20 minutes tops, and I'm gone. I love you, but I'm just gonna talk to death if not. Um, what's the ultimate dream venue you want to play at slash sell out one day? This is a bit of a weird one, and I think it's pretty. I don't think it's like necessarily the venue as such, but we got to play some really really big venues when I was in Crooks. Like we played a venue called Oberhausen, I think it's pronounced, in Germany, and I would like to go back to some of the shows that I got to play when I was in Crooks. Now I'm a different performer because I didn't know what I was doing back then, and I was all over the place, and I wasn't very good at what I was doing, and I was very worked up and upset all the time with all the shit that I was singing about in Crooks, and I just feel like I didn't do it justice. So I would love to go back to those venues with Sully and um, shut it down. I appreciate that, J Hat. We've got a couple links in in the EU and UK for merch, but I just want like a big company to take us on so that we don't have to be packing and sending it ourselves, because I need the security that that shit's landing with everyone, because it's really stressful when it doesn't. Because we're just trying to make sure that we're looking after everyone properly, and it's very difficult. But I've been in talks with a couple of companies. It's just for some reason not worked out. Yeah, I don't know why I love long. I've just been making long sleeves for years, as you know. If you're a Crooks fan, I've just made fucking so many. Um, yeah, Somerset is actually who we used for Crooks for years. Joel did nearly all of the Crooks stuff for the UK. Mitzi. Okay, let me just keep going through. Yeah, I like honestly, guys. I really appreciate this. It's not the printers that we're struggling with, as I'm sure you know. It's like I need like a big. I've been talking with some bigger companies to like take us on as like a guaranteed. You know, they do everything for us. And again, I've had meetings. I had last year. I was literally having meetings with people over this shit in person to try and like negotiate people taking us on properly as like a they do everything, run and ship globally, everything, and it's in the works, but it's just not really happened quick enough. And yeah, it's competitive right now. If we land it, we're gonna have to sell that shit out, because the main thing is just making sure that we keep up our demand. So yeah, I wonder if you maybe I should just show you that song with Gucci. I don't think that would be too deep. I think I've probably got it. Yes, stop. Look, I don't mean to go on a deep one, man, but you're asking me about things I really care about. I'm not really here to plug stuff, by the way, but I also did a pretty meaningful podcast recently. There's a homie that's been reaching out for years who has this podcast up north. Who I never do interviews, I never do podcasts, I never answer questions unless it's literally my fans, because I feel like people really wasted their opportunity to ask us stuff in the past, and I just don't really, unless someone comes to me with like the right questions, I just don't care, because people don't seem to. They want the interview or the podcast, but they don't come correct with like the knowledge or the like, you know what I mean? Unless it's Nardwar, like I'm not really interested. And I did a very important podcast recently that comes out in spring, and I spoke very deeply about Crooks and Sully, and I did like a joint episode. Half of it's Crooks, half of it's Sully, and I think both will be released. I'm still going through and listening to it all and double checking it all. But yeah, if you, I don't really need to promo that, but I will release it at some point. If you, with the, yeah, we will release it at some point, and I'll let you guys know. Okay, let me just quickly check. I think we're nearing the end, guys. I think we're nearing the end. Fuck's sake. Guys, I'm sorry that it's been a challenge tonight to answer your questions while I was keeping up with chat, because truthfully, I thought we were going to speak for half an hour. You might have a couple questions, and then I figured we might just game as always. And I didn't expect it to be so much of a catch up, but yeah, I'm glad that it has been, because like I said, this is rare, and usually we're just here talking about Pokemon. Oh my gosh. Guys, yo, thank you so much. You don't need to drop bits. I love you, but you don't have to drop. Guys, thank you. Which track are you most excited to perform? I have so much unreleased shit. I'm not going to give anything away, really. Bugs is up there, obviously. I'm looking forward to all the stuff where like I've purposely written things for people to like. It's really obvious when we write stuff for the crowd to sing certain moments. It's like those moments are really for you, and I'm looking forward to all of that. But there's this other song called "Just What I Was Worried About," and it's also one of my favorites. It's got this crazy part in. I could find it. Let me have a look. It's the last song on the records. Let me find. I'm not going to show you the whole song, but the storytelling gets really deep at this point in the record, and no way, Nat's just pulled up. Nat, my goat. What the fuck? Yes, Nat. My goat fam. What are you saying, Nat? Come on, broski. The bees. Nah. Look, listen, chat. I don't know how many of you are in here right now, or like who's still paying attention to me fucking going on. But listen, right? We were talking earlier about how treacherous this bro. We were talking earlier about how when I got the chance to come back and properly go out and start creating again and put a lot of this visual stuff out for this record, and I was mentally and physically able to, I had these crooked ideas to go out and shoot in these wild locations that involved a lot of like essentially breaking into, we're not out here offending anyone, but like places we shouldn't be really. And one of the locations is this old fucking crooked ass abandoned house that is the house. It's one of the houses that we shot for I Wouldn't Recognize Me, but there's like a small abandoned kind of, not town, but like housing settlement, and some of the houses are still put together a bit, and they're really dangerous and they're falling apart. And the reason they're perfect, because I've done a lot of urban exploration over my years, and I know a lot of abandoned houses and a lot of like, I'm just obsessed with old buildings that are falling apart. And I don't know, I've been writing about the same house for like fucking 15 years. So I just love it. I think there's something really beautiful about the way that just the metaphor of that house has just served me over and over again for years, and been a really, it was a reoccurring nightmare I had when I was a kid, and I've never wavered from it, and I've been using it as a metaphor forever. And there was a house that I knew had been rained on so much that it had created a huge hole in the roof, and then where the rain had gone through the roof, it had gone through the second floor. So when you're in the ground floor, there's a hole that goes through the roof into the second floor and into the basement. And we went there, chat, you guys are into me. We went there in, I don't know, the dead of night. I went there 3 times and it's a fucking nightmare. We went the first time to location scout, and then we went again to shoot, and then we went again to shoot for I Wouldn't Recognize Me. It took forever. It's nowhere near my house, so me and the homies had to drive into the middle of fucking nowhere, park up, walk for miles, climb up these fucking hills, barbed wire, you name it, fucking through fields of crops at like, I don't know, early hours of the morning with just torches and fucking, yeah, it was hectic. And yeah, Cam knows. Cam was there on the location scout because I hadn't been there in years, so I had to go all the way there just to check to see if we could then go and bring all the camera equipment and then go back to the location. And the second shoot, when we went to the location to shoot for the first time, so the second shoot, but the first time we were recording out of 2 times, we got seriously fucked up by hornets. And when I tell you, when you're in this tiny abandoned house in the fucking middle of nowhere, fam, like drive to the middle of nowhere, parked up, walked down this country road, up this hill, climbed over this barbed wire fence, walked through these fucking fields for like half a mile, walked into a fucking forest, dense ass forest, and then in the center of the forest there's just an abandoned house that's just been like worn to shit, and we could only go there in the dead of night because it's on some private land, maybe, whatever, we don't need to discuss that. We go there the second time we go there, so I found out that hornets are pretty prevalent in summer evenings, and we shot there in the summer evening, and we were in this house where there's only one way in and one way out, and it's like set up really weirdly, and all the floors are covered in holes, and like there's holes into the basement, and I actually put my foot through the floor really badly. And if you go and watch I Wouldn't Recognize Me, there's a shot in the middle where I'm like shirtless and the camera pans past me, and if you look, all of my foot and leg are just covered in rubble because I put my foot in the pitch black all the way through the floor when we were shooting. I'm bringing this up for a reason. Nat in chat was the stagehand and BTS camera guy for that shoot, and bless Nat. Nat had worked with us before on Juzo, which was also treacherous as fuck. Juzo was also super treacherous. But so Nat's experience with working with Sully has been pretty horrible because we're only shooting in these fucked up locations. And Nat, bearing in mind, none of us get paid for this shit really. I mean, don't get me, like, we do this because we want to do it. So Theo asked Nat to turn up and help basically, and Nat, being the legend that he is, pulled up. Thrown in the deep end is an understatement, but don't get me wrong, we're professional, we know what we want, we get the job done, we're on business. I'm not out there goofing around. Neither's Theo. Nat, on the other hand, we pulled up outside the house once we'd swept it. We're in there at like 2 a.m, sweeping the house, cleaning all the shit out the house so that we could shoot in it in the middle of fucking nowhere. And there's like bats flying all past our heads and stuff. If you watch I Wouldn't Recognize Me, there's shots with bats flying above my head because we stood there and waited for ages until we could capture them because they were everywhere. It looked insane. But these bats were flying past us and shit, and we're in this building, and we pulled up outside with all this equipment, and a hornet flew past my head, and it got caught in a spider's web next to Nat. And when I'm telling you, the week before we'd gone to location scout, we'd already had a run-in with hornets when Cameron's partner was halfway over a barbed wire fence, and when we were trying to leave, the hornets were chasing them, and we're in the dead of night, pitch black, and all I hear is Cameron's partner screaming, and she was yeeting her shit, yeeting her phone and all of us belongings because the Hornets were chasing the light, and Cameron was screaming and everyone was screaming, and I ran because I was with Kate's, and Kate's is very allergic to wasps, and these Hornets sounded like fucking. I mean, you imagine you're on top of this on this field on the top of a hill in this mall top in the middle of nowhere, literally the middle of nowhere. You could scream and no one would hear you, and then you just hear these like power trooper Hornets flying past your head. You couldn't. We were just running around like mad trying to duck them, but you can't see them. And when you're holding a light and you're in pitch dark, like it was terrifying. And Nat had a huge light. Nat had a huge softbox light for the shoot for I Wouldn't Recognize Me. And the Hornet, I said, is that a Hornet? That doesn't look good. That it was in this spider's web, and it was right by Nat, outside the house, and it was going fucking mental. And Nat and Theo turned to the Hornet, and the Hornet was flapping around, and just as the boys went, uh-oh, that's a Hornet, it got out of the web and turned for us and went fucking apeshit. And then the three of us were running around like mad in the pitch black in this very dense forest, jumping over trees, everyone's screaming. Nat kept running. Nat ran straight into me. You fucking yeeted me in the pitch black. All you kept hearing was these flying past your head, trying not to get stung. I thought, fucking hell, I'm not going into shock in the middle of the woods. And then Nat had to throw the. We were like, dash the light, Nat. So Nat threw the light box, and it landed in the middle of the woods. And all three of us are stood in a triforce around this light box. And I'm not fucking joking. You can see this absolute monster of a Hornet on the light box. And all of us are like this, fuck me. Because if it flies off, we can't see it. But we couldn't get the light box. And we're trapped either in dense woods or barbed wire. And there's no way out. And we're fucking miles away from anywhere. So we had to call off the shoot because we were too worried that they were going to keep coming, because if it was distressed it would keep calling them, and if we got trapped in the building it was going to get too hectic. So as soon as it flew off, we grabbed the light box, darted over the barbed wire, and the boys had to drive me hours home, hours back to Wales, and then 2 weeks later we had to drive all the way back to the arse end of nowhere to finish the shoot. That's why the lighting's different in the video, because we did it at completely different times because of these fucking Hornets. But Nat is an OG because the first time we shot was Juzo, and Juzo was equally as treacherous, and it was also super middle of the night, middle of nowhere, in these areas where we definitely didn't have permission to shoot, and we took this humongous floodlight. We had like more equipment than we could carry through the forest, and we were honestly, I don't want to go into it because it's another long story. Nat will vouch for Juzo being equally as treacherous to shoot. I mean, I don't know how we didn't make it into the paper for doing Juzo or like the local news or some shit, because the shots in the roundabout, they're in a bat conservation area. That's why all the light is red. And I'd wanted to shoot there for years because I saw them install it, and it's fairly near my house, and I thought it was cool as fuck because you drive into this area and then there's only red light. So we took a big red light, and we put it in the middle of this humongous roundabout in this massive open road, and I walked around it with my hood up like I was in some kind of fucking seance, and all the crew, this was at like 3 a.m. Every time a car came, they had to duck onto the ground, but I had to stay in character essentially. So these people would be driving into this roundabout on this main road at like 3 a.m. on like a Friday night, and they just see one brother with his hood up walking in this red fucking roundabout surrounded by red lights, and this humongous red pillar of light in the middle that we'd put there like it was some kind of fucking witchcraft. I mean, cars were pulling up to the roundabout and slowly circling the roundabout. And the baitest one is when we were doing the final shots where I'm in the middle of the roundabout and the guys are circling around me, they all got in the whip. I was the only one not in a car. So I was just alone on the roundabout. So when these cars were driving up and all of the photography team were in a different car driving around, I just looked like one crazy motherfucker in this roundabout on my own. And the fucking cars that were pulling up would evidently not know that my team were in the car in front, and I was just losing my mind surrounded by these fucking red lights everywhere. We don't look, this is some rare shit. I'm never going to talk about this shit again, but that's the only reason. I'm telling you, bro. You wonder why we put so much you wonder why we put so much attention onto these videos, because we're not signed to a label. We don't have like funding. We don't have a big manager and team, and we don't have people to like get planning permission and fucking put loads of money into this so that we have a rig and security, and we don't have any of this shit. We have 4 lads hiking through the forest in the middle of fucking nowhere with like tens of thousands of pounds worth of fucking camera equipment in the dead of night, where there's like boar and fucking wild pigs and shit that can like fucking, and all sorts of weird wildlife. And we pulled up to the fucking spot where we were shooting, and there was all these people that were like fucking camping out in the middle of the woods on some bait one, getting fucked up and doing a bunch of bait shit, and we just had to just hope that they didn't fucking want to cause any trouble with us and just keep doing our thing. We're just always on a DIY thing. So if you go and watch those videos back now, I swear to God, just literally, Mitzi, you know the ends. It's not. You go watch those videos. Those aren't sets. They are. It was just so much work. It's taken like 6 months to get these visuals together. Like honestly. Yeah, and just go check them, man. Go watch the videos. You see it with a different light. Trust me, fam. Right, listen, guys. I'm just gonna end up talking for forever. If we got any last questions before I bounce, I love you, but I just I'm very aware that I'm just gonna keep talking forever if you keep asking me shit. So why don't we just say like, if you got any last ones, then just I'll answer anything and then we're gonna bounce in it. I'm pretty sure we're good to be wrapped. Oh, I miss J Hat bouncing. J Hat, if for any reason you see it, you know I love. Nick, no way. Shouts to Nick. I didn't see you pop up. Yeah. I also want another collab with Joe. Right, look guys, this is looking good. I think this is the right time to bounce in it. I've been with you since Nevermore and the whole start of Crook. Sending love from Colombia. Wow, fucking hell. Thank you very much. Yeah, hopefully we do make it out to the States. We've been offered, but we won't go until it makes sense financially, because obviously getting visas and stuff for the whole team is crazy expensive. So we gotta wait until it's possible. Mitzi, to answer your question quickly, I did have a relationship with Impericon, but if I'm being completely honest, I don't know if they're the right fit for Sully. So even though I'm really grateful they helped me at the beginning, I'm not quite sure that they are as invested as I need them to be in what I need from my brand. I think that's the best way of putting that. Okay, guys. I'm so glad you guys. This honestly, that shit with that, like honestly, those videos, man. Bruh, J-Hat casually having Catalyst 7 times. He just put it in the Discord. What? No way, what the fuck? Come on, man. No! J-Hat, what the fuck? J-Hat has more NFG stock than NFG. Fuck me, J-Hat. What the fuck? He's got their first album 5 times. He has Kill It Live like 4 times. That record's like fucking spenny now. I have that though. Wow. Sorry guys. Chat, I think it makes sense to love you and leave you soon. Thank you so much for this evening. It's been fucking, honestly, I didn't anticipate us hanging out like this at all. I've had this crazy Pokemon ROM hack. I've just had this Pokemon ROM hack up on the other monitor the whole fucking evening, thinking that we were gonna get some time in to play it. But yeah, guys, I love you. I absolutely love you. Mitzi, favorite episode of 90210. Yeah, I mean, I used to love 90210. I mean, truthfully, the OC is my favorite series of all time, and I think that takes 90210 any day. I think that's by far the best coming of age show on the planet. Right, okay, listen, guys. It makes sense to love you and leave you. There's a lot of unreleased stuff. This has been quite fun getting to show you some shit, so you never know, like maybe we're gonna jump on again sometime soon, and maybe I can share some more stuff with you, because yeah, truthfully, you know what, there is some things that I've got that like genuinely might not see the light of day, and if you get to experience them in some capacity, that feels like they were worth the time, even if they don't. I'll show you a snippet, Len, and then I'm gonna go, because I know Morgan's bless. Don't hold me to it. Let me look for it. I think I've got it, and then I'm gonna show you. Ah! And then I bounce. I think I do have it somewhere. It's not what you would expect. Because it's a collab between the 3 of us. So Jacob produced it, and he was doing his thing back then, and it was like it's kind of like future garagey, I would say. I think it's this. Oh yeah, okay, I've got it. I found it straight away. Can I just make this very clear? I absolutely adore Morgan. Like, getting to do this was so much fun, and I'm really gutted that it didn't come out, but I cannot tell you how much I adore him. He's like, yeah, he has like the most brotherly energy to us. I don't know if it's something about the fact that he grew up in Ireland, or like he just has this really British, he just gets our stupid sense of humor. Like, we are very like innately not funny, I think, and he is so on our wavelength. I just love him so much. He literally feels like family. I love getting to catch up with him. We don't link so much when we're not on tour, but I've toured with him quite a bit now, and yeah, it's always love. We pick it back up quickly, and okay, I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to jump off. And let me make it clear to anyone that's watching still, I love you. Thanks for this evening. It's been a lot of fun, and I will game next time. And if we're in this space, I'll be gaming. It's fun to just take a minute to play video games, and yeah, maybe even with Peach. He's doing his thing, but maybe even with Peach if he's got him in. But yeah, it's been really nice to like try and catch up with some of you guys, and answer some questions and some shit. Let me just check this, and I'll show you as I roll out. Okay, listen, this is not what you expected. I think personally this is inherently very, very different for all of us. But you asked for it, so I will show you. She got me in 2 weeks, how can I keep my cool when she knows I've waited 2 months and it's complicated, 2 more when I've hit the pavement. I'm sick of this, trust me, how can I move on the ground? That step keeps breaking, I couldn't see her switching. I wrote that I just can't breathe so many times I started to feel different. 2 more and we're on the floor in your kitchen. I should have stayed at home, sometimes I think I'm cool for not sticking. I couldn't bear the thought of you with him. You try to air your laundry, I'm dipping. Watch me care, you're not what I'm thinking. Tell me what you wanted from me. I've been talking to myself so I like it. Baby, it's my year, I'm trying to tell you to live. I don't wanna see you waking up next to me. I could never live up to you. Why you keep the wrong so tight, we gotta do it. Baby, it's my year, I'm trying to tell you to live. I don't wanna see you waking up next to me. And I hate that you're the one. You make me give it up, but you never quit the drugs. When I'm falling through the ground, you never heard the sound, but you're always quick to judge. What am I supposed to do? Let you fade away. I'm just not enough. I turn the razor blade to exact cause to present love. So tell me what you want from me. Tell me what you want from me. I've been talking to myself so I like it. It's lit. I haven't listened to this in a fucking min, right? It's lit. Come next to me. Live up to you. Come next to me. She got me in 2 weeks, I couldn't keep my calm. I think she's starting to realise I can't keep the sleeve on my arms. 2 more when I'm done talking about him. Came home drunk, saw the whole thing. Watch me care, not what you think. Alright, chat. Love you for now. I'll catch you next time. Everyone, have a lovely evening. Peace, peace, peace. Don't forget to stream my record. And as always, even though he's offline, if you ever get the chance, send your love to my boys, to Az, to Theo, I guess to Al, to Nat, my friends, all the team that are involved. Happy release day. I know they're not massive active online doing their thing because they're busy working, but I will thank everyone accordingly online so you know where to send your love to over the weekend. And please keep streaming our shit. I will speak to you soon. Love, love, love. Yo, yo, yo.